The mighty All Blacks. Despite not dominating as much these past few years, they are still very dangerous. They have one of the best winning ratio of all time for any sports team. They rarely lose, and even more rarely lose at home. Unfortunately for them, they did lose against certain teams for the first time at home. In 2020, after Argentina won their first ever game against New Zealand, they decided to win away in New Zealand for the first time in 2022. Ireland, which only won against New Zealand for the first time ever in 2016, managed to win their first ever game on New Zealand soil in 2022. But what's even more rare is to win a series in New Zealand, which Ireland also did for the first time in their history in 2022. This is only the seventh time that this ever happened. The first time was in 1937 when the Springboks won their 2-1 series on New Zealand soil. Second one came in 1949 when Australia won 4-0 a series. The third one came much later when the British and Irish Lions won in 1971 to what is still known as a legendary tour, where the Lions won 2 games, drew 1 and lost 1. In 1986, a year before New Zealand became the first nation to be crowned world champions, Australia became the first team to win a second tour in New Zealand, winning the series 2-1. In 1994, finally, another European team, which isn't made of all-star players, won a tour in New Zealand. France won that year their 2-game tour 2-0. This is also the last time that New Zealand has lost in their stadium, the Eden Park, almost 30 years of being undefeated there, and this could be the next impossible task. In 2009, France won 1 out of a 2-game tour. I know this isn't the same as winning a series 2-0 or 2-1, but they still won it based on points difference. Note that this point difference thing only happened when you play a 2-game tour, as you would usually see in football with goal difference. For Dusautoir, first game as captain, we have seen worse starts. And lastly, Ireland, of course, the last one in this list after almost 30 years of not losing a series at home with 2 defeats. The only ones that kind of came close were France in 2009, as mentioned before, and the British and Irish Lions again in 2017 when they won once, drew once, and lost once. Ireland won their series 2-1 and proved the world that they were the world's best team in the world. They later beat the world champion South Africa that same year and won the 2023 Grand Slam to prove it even more. Similar to 2019, Ireland and New Zealand can face each other again in this year's quarterfinal, which should be one of the most exciting games of this year's competition. Australia or South Africa don't come around for tours anymore, and with this potential World League, the summer tours as we know it will not be seen as often as before. But when it happens, Ireland might still have a chance. England as well, which has never done it before, but my main favourites are the Lions in 2029 and France whenever this happens. But they now tend to not send the best players over the summer series as they usually have some very long seasons, but a tour in New Zealand will for sure excite a few to go and try to make a second exploit. So, who's going to follow in the footsteps of Philip J. Neal, Trevor Allen, John Dawes, Andrew Slack, Philippe Saint-André, Thierry de Sautois, and Johnny Sexton? Let me know what you guys think in the comments is going to be the All Blacks at home, but most importantly, during a tour.